So, hey besties, you've got Ellen here, and as you can see, my office, my sewing room is a huge mess. It's I'm in the midst of Q4 mania, which means I'm running around like a chicken with her head cut off. I would never cut a head off a chicken, by the way. I've got chickens in the backyard, and I give them nothing but love, corn, grapes, and loving words, by the way. But I have been running around like the proverbial chicken with her head cut off. But I wanted to say hey and share the next chapter of Sexist Storytime. So, for this story time, I'm going to tell you an anecdote from my own life rather than reading it from that fabulous 1950s sewer singing book. Sewer singing book. Singer sewing book. See what's happening to me right now? I just about pulled an all-nighter last night trying to get a report done, so don't expect a lot of coherence out of me today. Anyways, a couple of years ago when I first started to get into sewing, first discovered this passion that just sort of sprung up out of nowhere. I was talking about it with a new group of friends, and I was out with one acquaintance who looked at me and called me a freaking 1950s housewife because I was talking about a new machine I was getting. And like a chicken, I can be flapped, I can be flappable, but I'm fairly unflappable. And this really pissed me off. I'll be perfectly honest that I sort of had that thing where, you like take a breath and you feel your blood pressure going up a little bit, and your first reaction is, what the pardon my language. I'm going to try to keep this PG-13 so that we have, so that this is an open and safe space for teens and up. But that's how I felt. I was deeply offended, and my initial thought was just like, I need to put this. And what I wanted to say is, while I have all of my sewing stuff back here, if you look at the other side of my office from where I am recording, I have my computers and my monitors. I have two of each. And I'm doing contractor work, and I work a lot. And I'm not a 1950s housewife. I'm not a trad wife. Not that, we can get into that another time. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. I love to cook. I hate to clean. I love to garden. I love to sew. A lot of those things suggest trad wifery, but the truth is that I'm a contributor to the family budget. I contribute to sending the kids to camp, to going on vacations, to paying the bills, to keep the heat on and the water running, and to have food in the house and all of that. So this coming from an acquaintance, it wasn't done in a friendly way. There are so many things you can do as someone who sews that is not just going back in time and women had no rights. And honestly, 2025, that's where we're going anyways. And we're going to try to fight that, and we're going to try to live the best lives we can. But I don't think that women should be saying to other women, and this actually should not be limited to any gender identity or biological sex. It doesn't matter. The point is, that was a comment to put me down. And I think it just speaks to a greater discussion around sewing, that this is an art, and it's more than just getting a machine and stitching things. It's about finding out who you are, how you feel most comfortable, right? Like, I've had this shirt for more than a decade. I just put it on and I feel really good. Sometimes it's about just finding the right look or the right way to express yourself into the world. Everyone has a different way of expressing themselves, right? Doesn't have to be in what you wear. It can be in what you say and what you write. It doesn't really matter. But sewing for me, and creating and like garment design, is a way of expressing myself and also finding myself. It's a way of avoiding fast fashion. It's a way of learning my chill It's a way of like sitting and seam ripping or hand sewing or doing something that takes a lot more time and focus than I usually give. Like I'm a major multitasker. I always have a million things going on. I'm always driving myself nuts and my husband and my family with all of my ideas and stuff. Sewing helps me to channel that sometimes into just sitting and focusing and listening to music or a podcast or like my thoughts. I could be in a really stressed out mood from the week, responding to clients who have very immediate needs and requests and not a lot of patience. And that can obviously be very stressful, balancing that with everything else in life. I find that sitting in my office, closing my door, and even just listening to another YouTuber can be so calming to me because I'm in my space. So let's not be reductive, people. When somebody calls you a 1950s housewife or says something else that's really inappropriate, dumb, and not funny, just remember that as a sewist or whatever you want to call it, you're so much more than just somebody who's working in front of a machine. I mean, the machine is one part. It's learning about the fabrics. It's learning about measuring, right? It's about learning different techniques. It's about having the patience to learn something new, to work with your hands when maybe you're just used to working with your computer. It's just so much more. And if you're on this channel, you might already know that. And if you don't, whether you sew or not, whether you read books, do yoga, I don't know, rock climb, I hope that you have some kind of hobby or interest or passion or outlet to where you can bring all of that stress and all of that passion, all the goods and the bads, the stuff you want to elevate and the stuff you want to sort of tamp down on, right? I want less stress. I want more passion. I want more positivity. I want more community. This is what I want. So when I think of needle and thread, I don't just think of, I'm just like stitching two pieces of fabric together. I'm like creating a new life for myself. And gifts for people and all this kind of stuff. And it's what led me to create a YouTube channel. So anyways, this is Sexist Storytime / my rant. I would love to hear your rants. I will be ranting more. I love to rant. I'm going to rave. I'm going to rant. I'm going to rave. I'm going to rant. I'm going to rave. And I'm so glad to have you along for the ride. So, besties, have a great morning, afternoon, evening. Maybe it's 3 a.m. and you've got insomnia. Thank you for tuning in. Maybe make a cup of tea. Maybe you'll feel better. Maybe read a chapter of a book and you can get to sleep. Whatever it is, I hope that my rant has struck a chord. Take care.